You can't accuse this city of not planning for the future. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates, and having spent years in the shadows, now wants to take what it believes is its rightful place in the world. There's no pretense anymore. They'll spend whatever it takes to make it. Abu Dhabi Plan 2030 is the project of the Urban Planning Council. It wants measured, controlled growth, projects that connect with each other. There are 1.4 million people living in the Emirate now, and that population is growing.
In the last 3 years, there's been tremendous growth and tremendous pressure on the region and the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. In fact, in 2007, just prior to the creation of the Urban Planning Council and Plan 2030, there were proposals for communities of hundreds of thousands of people without any consideration of the impacts on the rest of the region, whether it was transport, infrastructure, community facilities, what have you.
So we knew from the beginning that we had one chance to turn this into a milestone destination, into a world-class destination, into a successful story, and we spent a lot on the planning.
Imagine you're a developer in Abu Dhabi. This city and state is less than 50 years old, so effectively it's still a blank canvas. When some areas get a bit crowded, you just move over and start filling in the gaps.
We need a plan to guide this growth. Otherwise, there is going to be development happening haphazardly throughout the region.
The vast oil and gas wealth from the Arabian Gulf has given the Emiratis and expats who live here an enviable way of life. But hydrocarbons won't last forever. So Abu Dhabi has embarked on a policy of ferocious economic change, which now means this place is a case study in urban development. If everything happens as planned, Abu Dhabi will begin to wean itself off the oil and gas for which it's so famous. Instead, develop more industries for renewables. So Plan 2030 is an aspirational blueprint for that future. Building regulations are being reformed. Construction must be green and sustainable, says the plan, and energy efficient. Then there's the new cultural district on Saadiyat Island, which will house 3 major international museums, including a Guggenheim and a Louvre. It's not just bricks and mortar which are the focus of Plan 2030. The whole of Abu Dhabi's outlook is getting a makeover.
We're diversifying everything in Abu Dhabi. We're not just focusing on oil and gas anymore. It's on technology, it's on aerospace, it's on many different fields, education, infrastructure. So we're going to be bringing thousands and thousands, millions of people to the city. And one aspect we want to move on is quality of life. So that's entertainment, that's education, that's healthcare.
And it's also places like this, Ferrari World, the newest tourist destination in Abu Dhabi.
It's the largest indoor theme park in the world, and it's the only Ferrari World that there is. There is only Ferrari World Abu Dhabi.
Ferrari World is part of this wider idea to diversify the economy and increase the potential, in this case, of tourism. Its greatest asset is this: the Formula Rossa. At 150 miles an hour, it's the world's fastest roller coaster.
The track itself is approximately 2.2 kilometres long. The ride lasts for 92 seconds. It's the world's fastest roller coaster.
There is the question, who are these changes for? 80% of the people who live here are foreigners who've been lured in by big business. Plan 2030 caters for an expected swell in population, but that swell might not happen. The Urban Planning Council already predicts that a target of 3 million people living here by 2030, doubling the current size, seems unlikely.
The major failings of most planning efforts in the world is that they don't allow the government to adapt to changing economic circumstances or environmental circumstances.
There is a clear map for Abu Dhabi, and we are not saying this 2030 plan is static. This 2030 plan is reviewed every 2 to 3 years, and we adapt and we change, but at least we have a clear map. We know, for example, travel and tourism is important to the government. It's on the agenda, and that brings more confidence to the private sector when they go and invest in this.
When you look around this city, new buildings are springing up everywhere. The problem for most cities is not which changes to make, but rather how to pay for them. Here, they have all the money they need. So the challenge for Abu Dhabi is how to spend it wisely. After all, you only get one chance to build a true future city. Richard Press, CNN, Abu Dhabi.